Do you feel frustrated watching your teens waste their potential? Maybe they scroll endlessly on their phone instead of getting their schoolwork or chores done. Maybe they struggle with motivation, procrastination, organization, anxiety, or responsibility. I specialize in helping teens to thrive, and I've spent many thousands of hours coaching teens around the world one-on-one. I've seen firsthand what truly unlocks a teenager's potential and gets them on the right path. It's not about pushing them harder or lecturing them more. Instead, it's about equipping them with the right mindset, habits, and strategies. Over the years, I created the 3P system. This system is exactly what every teenager needs to become motivated, responsible, respectful, and resilient. Using this system, your teens won't just do better in school. They'll build confidence, self-discipline, and the drive to do their best in every area of life. The 3P system focuses on the 3 pillars of purpose, principles, and performance. In this video, I'll explain the system in detail so you'll know exactly what your teens need to focus on. Here's the first P. Purpose. A strong sense of purpose is essential for your teens to thrive. Many parents think their unmotivated teens are just lazy. But after coaching countless teens, I can say with confidence that it's rarely about laziness. It's about teens not being able to see the bigger picture. If your teens feel like they're just memorizing random facts or completing schoolwork just to avoid getting in trouble, they'll disengage. But when they see that education is more about contribution than achievement, and that they can actually connect their schoolwork to their values and character development, they'll naturally become more driven. Let's look at a real-world example. I once had a teenage coaching client who never submitted his assignments on time. I'll call him John. John's mom told me that this had been going on for years. During the coaching sessions, John explained his perspective to me. He felt like authority figures were always using threats to try and coerce him into submitting his work on time. He hated the feeling of being manipulated, so he rebelled. When I had a discussion with him about how he could develop a stronger sense of purpose, we ended up talking about values and about the people he admired. He said he had always admired people who have a strong work ethic. So John decided that he wanted to develop a better work ethic and become more responsible. Within 2 weeks, John was submitting 100% of his homework on time. This amazed his parents. This example shows the power of getting teens to focus on values, character development, and cultivating a sense of purpose. This approach works far better than just telling teenagers to study hard for their own good. Let me explain further. Intrinsic goals are goals that are related to values and personal growth. Research conducted by Dr. Carol Dweck shows that teenagers who focus on intrinsic goals perform better and experience lower levels of stress. This is in comparison to teenagers who are motivated by extrinsic rewards, such as grades or parental approval. This is why I always help my teenage coaching clients to connect their daily actions to their intrinsic goals. Of course, this means they first need to identify what their intrinsic goals are. This process takes time, but it's essential if you want your teens to experience a positive transformation in their attitude towards school and life in general. Once the foundation of the first P, purpose, is laid, your teens are ready to move on to the second P, principles. To unlock your teens' full potential, they need to understand and apply the principles of habit formation and emotional resilience. If your teenagers struggle with procrastination or distractions, it's probably because they haven't learned how to build good habits and eliminate bad habits. Habit formation isn't mainly about self-discipline or self-control, although those factors do play a part. To quote James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits, "The more disciplined your environment is, the less disciplined you need to be." This is a principle I always emphasize to my teenage coaching clients. For example, here's one of the things I do to make my own digital environment more disciplined. I turn my phone to grayscale mode as the default setting. This means that everything I see on my phone screen is black and white in color. If I really need to see something in color, I turn off grayscale mode for a while, then I turn it back on. By doing this, I've become much more intentional about using my phone, so I almost never do any mindless scrolling on my phone. I remember telling one of my coaching clients about how I keep my phone on grayscale mode. This teenager told me that he was addicted to his phone. I'll call him Tom. Tom's screen time statistics showed that he was using his phone for 8 hours a day on average. He felt shocked by the fact that he was using his phone so much. So Tom said he would try turning his phone screen to grayscale mode for 1 week. When I had the next coaching session with him a week later, he showed me his screen time statistics. He had reduced his phone usage by 75%. Tom was now only using his phone for about 2 hours a day. He was so pleased with this result that he decided to continue keeping his phone on grayscale mode as the default setting. This is just one example of how important it is for teens to make their environment more disciplined so they can stay on track. This applies to both their digital and physical environment. So your teens don't just need to become more diligent. They need to develop the right systems and routines so their habits and behavior will naturally fall into place. I've helped so many of my teenage coaching clients to do this, and the results have been incredible. Emotional control is another key aspect of the second P, principles. When your teens get frustrated, stressed, or overwhelmed, they need to know how to regulate their emotions instead of shutting down. I've worked with countless teens who have told me things like, I get so anxious before a test that I can't think straight. Sometimes I feel so stressed that I end up spending hours on my phone to escape the stress temporarily. Teens need to apply research-backed emotional management techniques so they'll be able to stay calm and focused even in high-pressure situations. If you're finding this video helpful so far, please click the like button. And please subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss out on future videos about helping teens to thrive. When teens have mastered the second P, principles, they're ready to move on to the third P, performance. Even if your teens have the right purpose and principles, they still need the right strategies to perform well, both in school and in other areas of life. For instance, most teens haven't learned how to study effectively. Researchers have found that methods like spaced repetition, active recall, and mental scaffolding dramatically improve learning efficiency. Let's say your teenagers spend hours studying every day. If they're using ineffective methods, they still won't be able to retain the information well. When I teach my teenage coaching clients various learning strategies, memory techniques, and proven methods to stay focused, organized, and on task, they're able to optimize their learning. This means they can spend less time studying and get better results while also leading a balanced life. I also share with them psychological techniques to reduce performance anxiety so they do better in exams as well as in sports, music, etc. This is why the third P, performance, is so crucial if you want to unlock your teen's full potential. Many parents try to help their teens by pushing them to work harder. But this approach is rarely effective. That's because when advice comes from a parent, it often feels like pressure instead of support. And teens almost always resist this kind of pressure. Dr. Daniel Siegel is a clinical professor of psychiatry at UCLA. He explains that teens respond far better to structured mentorship than to parental pressure. This means that your teens need to hear it from someone they trust. Someone who isn't their parent but who understands what they're going through and who can guide them effectively. The 3P system is what your teens need to make the most of their potential and to develop the right values. If you'd like me to work with your teens to master the 3 Ps of purpose, principles, and performance, I'd be happy to help. When your teens work with me, they won't just get advice. They'll get a proven system, mentorship, and accountability to ensure they follow through on what they've committed to. And the positive transformation will be long-lasting. So if you're serious about helping your teenager reach his or her full potential and become a person of character as well, the one-on-one coaching program I offer is the next step. Visit daniel-wong.com/coaching to find out more. The link is also in the description. I look forward to working with your teen.